Hey guys, welcome to the fan review of Chef Julian, Season 3, Episode 5. So we start off this episode the morning after the menage a trois. Julian overslept and so he jumps up because he most certainly does not want to be late for his meeting with Wendy. Before we get into the real goings on of this episode, let's get the smaller storylines out of the way that were present in this episode. Milan is bisexual. Mo, who is trying to pretend as if her and Julian just hooking up, is very casual and nothing more. She still wants something more from Julian. That's clear from her conversation with Milan and her reaction when the waiter sent her the text at the end about Julian being there with his girlfriend. Talisa is being, in the words of Joe Madison, undervalued, underestimated, and marginalized. Now, I said in one of my previous videos, I was just not a Talisa fan. She just annoyed me, But I gotta stand up for Talisa. They're dogging her for no reason. They should be praising her because there would be no real traffic with this business if it were not for her work. So all we see with Milan and Mo, they're always in an apartment or in the bedroom on laptops. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who in the hell is cooking the chicken because that never happens and nobody's making any deliveries. But we're just gonna go with what y'all are showing us, okay? But anyway, at this point, Talisa is the primary contributor to why this business is really getting up off the ground. So this you need to stay in your place kind of thing. Milan is tripping. So thumbs down to Milan. Mo, she just strikes me as a follower. She's confused. She's relationship challenged. So, it's just no. But they just need to get off of Talisa's back. Mo's roommate BJ in this episode, I think just the positioning of her in this episode was just a little awkward. Let's talk about this meeting. So as the universe would have it, who's in the park near the restaurant where Julian and Wendy are meeting but Daryl. So Daryl's at the park with his new friend, his new lady friend, whatever she is, his friend and her daughter. But amongst Daryl, Julian, and Wendy seemed to me to be more bothered than the other two. And if I had to prioritize them, I would say Wendy was the most bothered, then Daryl, and of course that asshole Julian. Hey, it is what it is. He was cool. To me, he was very cool. And even when he was asking Wendy, like, are you all right? It just... So after Daryl and Julian acknowledge each other with the head nod, Wendy and Julian go on as if Daryl's not there. Wendy asked Julian about how did everything go with him and Milan and Mo, and he's like, everything went good. He shared with her, what went down, and she was like, wow, I'm shocked you even told me all of that. And he was like, what, told you about a non-event? And she's like, no. But she just looked like, she was trying to act very indifferent. So she was trying to act, in her responses to him telling her about what happened with Mo and Milan, she was trying very hard to act like she's his homie, which we know that she's not his homie. While Julian is signing the paperwork, Wendy looks over at Daryl and his crew, and she is just so bothered. And I was wondering, is she bothered by seeing him with this woman? Or is she bothered with seeing him in this family scenario and it's just making her think about, the pregnancy she didn't keep? Exactly what is it that's bothering her so deeply? Because I was never convinced that Wendy was in love with Daryl. So it just made me think that I think she had feelings for him, but I never thought she was in love with him really. So it just made me feel like when she was looking at him, and in her face, she definitely felt some kind of way about it. I think it might be more with her just seeing that whole family visual and thinking about her abortion and so on, because it certainly can't be about any love for Daryl, because that would be new. So Daryl and his crew comes over to the table. So Daryl, is like, what's up, man, talking to Julian, didn't even acknowledge Wendy's existence in the beginning. It was just like a guy running into one of his guy friends out on the street and like, yo, man, hey, I didn't expect to run into you. All nonchalant, introduced the ladies in his life. And when he said, yeah, we thought we'd come out here as family day, so I thought I'd bring my family. Wendy looked like somebody was just cutting her with a knife when he was saying those things. And again, if I didn't know better from the previous episodes, I would think she really did love Daryl. But maybe again it's more so connected to her feelings, and she's probably still dealing with all the emotions of terminating the pregnancy. So he refers to this lady and the baby as his family. But it was also funny how the lady he was with, I think her name was Tiffany, how she looked at him like, for real, ninja? For real? You know, she just gave him that look like, oh, okay. Wendy is clearly bothered by the camaraderie between Julian and Daryl. And you know that because she asked Julian, so you guys are still friends? And he's like, yeah, you know, we've been friends for a long time. We've squashed everything. It's all good. But she gets really upset and she leaves the table because I think it's just making her feel like how she said that she feels just like a total idiot. She feels like she's the one who's just being played all over the place by these two dudes, you know, and it's probably felt like she's been played by them for a while. But of course, ending up pregnant and having an abortion would be icing on the cake as far as the emotional turmoil with all of that. So she got up from the table and she just walked off because she just couldn't take it. When Julian said, well, you know, just Daryl, you know, he's hurt and he's just being petty and all that. And she was like, he's hurt. I think Wendy just, I think she's in, and I'm giving her some room on this because, again, she has to be still dealing with all of the emotions around the abortion, right? But I think it's kind of like, well, yeah, he is hurt, Wendy. I mean, this man begged you not to terminate the pregnancy because he wanted the child. So yeah, he would be hurt. So, but her reaction to me is just, I guess she feels like there's not enough sympathy being shown towards her, and probably she really feels there's not enough sympathy being shown towards her from Julian, who is probably the person she really wants it from. So Wendy leaves the restaurant. She's in the car. You know, Julian again runs behind her, and he basically, and you know, she goes off on him. She's like, what do you want from me? Are you just fucking with me? You just trying to mess with my head? What is it that you want from me? And you know, he ends up saying to her that, you know, I just really want to have a clean slate to start over with you so you and I can be friends. And at first Wendy said no, because nothing good is going to come from that. In the real world, we'd probably be like, girl, that's your best bet. Stick with that. Hit the gas. Get out. Just don't look back. Just hit the gas and go, because that's probably the best answer in this situation. But she stays and let Julian keep on doing what Julian does best, looking out, trying to look sincere, but looking fake and phony to me. But anywho, so she agrees to give the friendship a try. She says small steps. Julian, of course, being Julian, is like, can I get a hug? She's like, no. I was like, good Lord, thank you, Jesus. Some kind of strength somewhere. But she did agree to give a friendship a chance. And so that's where this half of Chef Julian ends. Julian at the end was just looking like, man, it was just like, what would you explain? He had just gotten the best news ever in his life. He was just so freaking happy about it. So this was a really good episode. I think it kind of leaves us kind of waiting until Chef Julian comes back on for the second half to see where does any of this go. Does Julian live up to what he claims he's trying to accomplish with Wendy, or does he just remain the same old asshole and dog and hoe he's been? And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the other storylines too. The storyline I cared less about in the first half, or the character I cared the least about, I should say, was Talisa. But now I'm feeling like I need to see some vindication for Talisa, and maybe deepen her role a little bit, because I think they're dogging her. Mo and Milan, they need to go ahead and do whatever they're going to do. Nothing good's going to come from that either, but they can do whatever they want to do. I don't care about either one of them anymore. I'm very close to putting them in the camp with Julian. The only other thing that occurred to me, because I was watching some old episodes of That Guy, which is like one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Black and Sexy TV series. I can't tell you how many times I've watched That Guy. Daryl kind of got a little rocky track record, okay? Because Daryl hooked up with Stacy on That Guy. Daryl hooked up with Stacy when Judah was dating Stacy first. Even though Judah gave him a pass on That Guy, on the show That Guy, he hooked up with her after after Judah had been with her. Now he hooked up with Wendy after Julian had been with her, and Julian also gave him somewhat of a pass. And both of these storylines for Daryl kind of ended up the same, that the person ended up, you know, still having more feelings for the other dude before they got to him. So if we're going to do any character development on Daryl, it would be great to see Daryl be in an original relationship, unconnected, not connected to any of his dudes or any of the past women that we know. I had even thought for a moment, well, why don't they just write Stacy back in to this series, and maybe they could have a real relationship, because all I see Stacey on right now is the after party shows, and she was a great actress, great character. So I'm just saying, y'all, maybe that's an idea. But if you're not gonna do that, we need Daryl to have something substantial, because now, even though I kind of came around on Daryl, but a lot of shit Daryl did bring on himself. Okay, so can we get him a woman that has never been with any of his dudes, okay? Because it's Tiffany chick that he's now saying, her and the little pretty little cute little girl. Now it's his family. Y'all, come on. Now it's his family. Y'all know that's not gonna last. That's rebound stuff. And based on his track record, Tiffany probably been with another dude that he knows too. Okay. So anyway, that's the end of the first half of Chef Julian. Looking forward to when it picks back up. Until Chef Julian picks back up, I'll be watching Sexless and doing reviews for that series on Black and Sexy TV. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please leave your comments. I really look forward to your comments, because one person pointed out with Chef Julian, they were like, well, how is he the boss? Because we don't see him cooking. He didn't contribute any money, and the recipe belongs to Mo. So how exactly is he the boss? I thought that is so good. And I would even go a step further and say, how are we even calling him a chef? Because I believe when this whole series started out, he was primarily being called a chef because of egg sandwiches. So yeah, might be a lot of misleading stuff up in there. But so I guess maybe we'll see a little bit on the second half of any clarification to any of that. But until the next time, thank you guys for allowing me to have my 2 cents. Please check out Black and Sexy TV if you're not subscribed already, and I'll see you in the reviews for Sexless.